Hello and welcome. My name is Dragan, and today we're going to be playing a game called Stillwater. It's a visual novel, detective slash horror thing, you know, game. So it seemed pretty interesting. So let's check it out. Start. This is work of fiction. The resemblance to any real-life people is purely confidential. This game contains descriptions of horror, mature themes, violence, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Okay, so no kids allowed. Caretaker. I'm sorry, but I can't stay here anymore, Nina. I feel like I'm going crazy. Calm down. If we can just talk it out. So many strange things keep happening after another. Every day there is this dripping sound. I thought it was just something leaking at first, but I checked every faucet, every ceiling, every pipeline, and still I hear it everywhere, consistently echoing in my ears. Oh, but what? Oh, but the water. I found random pools of water just appear out of nowhere, just like the dripping. But it's at night. It's at night when it comes. I don't know if it's my paranoia, but I swear I could hear footsteps walking along the hallways, walking on pools of water. They walk, and they walk. Upstairs and downstairs. And upstairs and downstairs a lot of times. And it goes on and on and on. And oh wait, it goes on and on and on and on like that. But somehow it does come to an end. And it ends all in front of my grandfather's room. Wait, all in front of your grandfather's room. I know this is a lot, but you have to believe me. No matter how many times I clean, it just won't end. I can't stay here any longer. I'm sorry, Nina. It's okay. I understand. Oh, darn it. I didn't know what that said. Thank you for taking care of my grandfather. Nina, please listen to me. I don't know what's happening around here, but the woman on the phone continuously looks around before speaking again in a hushed tone. Something terrible is lurking through the house. There he is. He's right over here. I don't know what it is, but please, as soon as you get back, take your grandfather and just leave this place. I can't just leave. That's my home. Please, Nina. This place is not safe. I don't know what you say, but what you saw, but I can't just leave things like this. It's my home. It's my home. I don't know why you said that twice, but okay. Dinner, 7 a.m. Amid a foggy morning, there sits a man by the... Wait, whoa, oh, it's a diner. Okay. Amid a foggy morning, there sits a man by the corner of a booth. He drinks black coffee and depending on his mood, occasionally orders a donut. Make sure I'm recording. Yeah. And today it was just black coffee. Ugh. I swear I've never seen that amount of paperwork in my life. A freaking mountain worth of it. You're a variable member of our team, Hugo. My foot. What? I'm starting to believe that I was bamboozled into joining their agency. Aha. Hugo, lieutenant, age 30, takes a good look at his cup of joe and chugs it all in one sitting. That's a lot. Okay. When he then continues to grumble to himself about last night's grueling work at the office. I really need to find a different job. As he contemplates his poor life choices, he looks out toward the early mist. There was something inherently terrifying about the fog jam. How it engulfs everything and nothing. Even if it disappears, it always leaves behind traces. Proof of it remaining. Even in a quaint little town like this, I can't even run from my fate, I guess. Hugo finally starts to compile newspaper clippings to put together. Some of them from recent events, but mainly all were past headlines of missing person cases. No matter how many times I see this, it's still just as hard to look at. Fixating case after case, he can't help but remind himself that there is a reason for all this. An all too personal reason. Seeing strange things come with a price. In the end, I'm the only one doing this to myself. Sounds rough, mind if I join? An annoyingly familiar voice interrupts his train of thought. He slowly looks up to see the one responsible, although reluctantly. Okay. Good morning, Hugo. Hugo scrawls and turns away from him. He then gathers the files and shoves it back into the binder. Meanwhile, the tall man takes this as an tentative and sits at the opposite end of the booth. He greets the waitress passing by and orders himself the hefty body breakfast special with an extra plate. As usual, the waitress is happy to oblige and goes back to the counter to relay his order. This man looks back at Hugo. He sees the empty cup and the now jumbled newspaper clippings, all the while Hugo is trying to ignore him. You really should eat something with that black coffee. No ordering any donuts today? I'm fine, Noah. I'm just not in the mood, okay? Not even a little? Hugo. There's a momentary silence between them before Noah disturbs it once more. Well, too bad for you. I ordered a big breakfast for the two of us. Two? That's a lot. Okay. As if the world could grace... as if the world could grace Noah with an even more perfect punchline. The food arrives. Why did you order for the two of us? Just eat what you want to eat. Don't worry about me. Wow, this looks delicious, right, Hugo? Are you even listening to me? Come on, we both know that if you don't eat now, who knows when you will, and I'm not about to let you faint again. So open wide. Noah DeLon, age 27, a natural born charmer, is just as equally persuasive as he is threatening. With a pensive look, Hugo finally gives in and eats the generous spoonful without further complaints. Hugo, it's good. Right. Good food will always help you cheer you up. I got swept up away again. Oh, by the way, the chief will be out for a business trip. She mentioned it will be for a couple of days. When did she tell you this? I didn't hear anything about it. Yesterday, I think. Yesterday, she told me to sort out the cabinets yesterday. She didn't mention anything about a business trip. I guess it was a pretty sudden one. Well, I mean, she did tell me to tell you. And lucky me, I know where you go every morning. You know what? I'm not surprised anymore. Well, what do you want to do? We technically have the day off. I'm going to head back to the office. There's a couple of boxes I didn't get a chance to sort out. In that case, I'll come with you. Why? You could just rest for the day. And pass up this opportunity to get to know you better? Quit it. After the enlightening banter, the two of them finish their breakfast, pay for their meals, and head to the Hugo's car. Oh, man. As Noah opens the door to the passenger seat, he notices a bloodhound sleeping inside. The big dog sits at the stirs at the sound of the car opening and lazily stares at Noah. I'm sorry, big guy. He then closes the door while trying not to make too much noise to disturb its occupant. Kobe. Sound of his name, he heavily lidded eyes slowly peek to see who calls for him. It is his one and only partner, his human. As he finally realizes who it is or where he is, the old bloodhound stirs up from his sleep, pounces on Hugo, and proceeds to wag his tail uncontrollably. Good morning again, Kobe. Had a nice nap? Kobe, 8 years old. Hugo's most faithful and loving partner in crime. Has the biggest tendency to just sleep all over the place. Noah, who has witnessed all of this from the back seat, chuckles to himself. He is amazed and slightly defeated at Hugo's sudden surge of energy. It doesn't matter how many times I try. When it comes to boosting up his mood, no one can beat Kobe. No, because that's my best friend. The three headed back to the office, the space just the same as Hugo left it. The decent organized mess. To his credit, for the amount of boxes he painstakingly went through, he believes he did a fair job. A bet could have been better. Wow, you really outdid yourself, Hugo. It looks less crowded. Ah, shut it, will you? I said I was going to get to it. Thanks, boy. I gotta remember not to click so much. I keep on accidentally skipping some stuff. Before Hugo could continue to give deserved head pats, and he noticed someone. A woman standing timidly peering outside from the storefront. The woman appears to be frantic. Disheveled? And wearing ill-fitted clothes, she appears to be distressed about something. When she finally makes eye contact with Hugo, she immediately rushes in. I'm so sorry. I know that the close sign is up, but I saw you come in and are you alright, miss? I need your help. My grandfather, before she can continue, Noah swiftly intervenes. It's okay, we're here what you have to say. So please, why don't you take a seat? Noah gestures to one of the empty chairs. The poor woman hesitates for a moment before heavily sighing in relief. She then walks toward the corner of the room and sits on the sofa. Can you start off by telling us your name? I'm sorry for earlier. My name is Nina. Mortimer? I need help watching over my grandfather tonight. Watching over your grandfather? Yes. Sorry, Miss Mortimer, but I don't quite understand. Is he in danger? I'm afraid he is. Miss Mortimer, if that is the case, would contacting the police be better? Isn't that where we're at? Aren't these the police people? Miss Mortimer, is that the case? Okay. No. I tried requesting their help, but they all gave me the same answer. There's nothing they can do about it. If only I knew who Lewis was. What? Lewis? Nina finishes at the name. She looks to the side before reaching out from her bag for an antique letter. My grandfather, he received a cryptic message the other day. It didn't come with an address or the name of the sender. However, the only thing I did pick up was that name. As she hands over the letter, Hugo notices her hands slightly shaking. Whatever lies in this note must have shaken her this badly. Delicately, Hugo removes the content of the envelope and unfolds it. At first glance, it seems like any normal written message. A person named Lewis asking the other, Henry, to come meet him by the lake at midnight, needing to share something important with him. However, what's eerily striking about the letters, it is not the message itself. Rather, at the bottom of the page, a sentence far more disturbing is written. I am coming for you, Henry. Ooh, spooky. Were there any other letters like this? Yes, a few of them. I thought it was a sick joke at first, but this one was different. Up until now, I've never heard of anyone by that name. Not a relative or family friend. But they clearly know who my grandfather is. If I don't do something about this, I'll lose him too. Just by uttering the words alone, Nina breaks down. Hiding away her tears streak face, she begins to quietly sob to herself. As an act of comfort, Kobe sits closely to Nina while Noah fetches tissue for her. Hugo, on the other hand, is puzzled. This very well could have been a prank, but she seems concerned. So certain that whoever or whatever this Lewis person is, they're coming. Do you want more tissue? I'll do it. I'll take on your case. For a moment, silence fills the room. Only stares are directed at Hugo until Nina finally stands up and walks toward him. You'll take it? Hugo simply nods. Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me. We're glad to help, miss. Nina is fine. Well, Nina, we'll do our best. Nina slyly smiles at Hugo before reaching into her bag once more and taking out a note. This is my address. I'll be sure to greet you when you get there, detective. She politely bows once more before heading to her car and drives back home. Once out of sight, Hugo turns to look at his cluttered desk. Still messy, but presentable. I guess we'll have to sort things out later again. Car. 5:30. From the ongoing downpour and the quiet hums the car, they sit in the silence. Still miles from their destination, Hugo consistently checks the rearview mirror. Knows usually chats his ear off by now. Sits completely still. He looks out to the passing streetlights. Reserved. Yes. And distant. Reserved and distant? I think, yep. Hey, you're a lot quieter than usual. What's wrong? This is a surprise. Have you been looking at me, Hugo? No, you idiot. You usually just talk a lot, that's all. So do you miss me talking a lot? Just say it. I didn't want to offend Nina earlier, so I kept quiet until she finished. But it's her last name that caught me off guard. Have you heard about the Mortimers? They're pretty, distinguished family. Well, they used to be. What do you mean? They've been struck with so many tragedies that over time, people began to believe they were cursed or something. Every other year, I would see a headline on the local news about one of the family members' deaths. And you know what's strange? All of them have been labeled as accidents? I think that's accidents. No foul play, no nothing. Just another unfortunate event for the family. Maybe I understand why she wouldn't go to the police. She probably thought they perceive her as paranormal or hysterical. Or worse, crazy. I can't imagine all of this for Nina. And most of all, who knows what we'll find there? Is that why you decided to come with me? Well, partially. I'm more worried about you, though. Think of it this way. I'm the appointed driver. When you decide to do something pretty reckless, assume I'll be there to drive you to the local hospital. Look. Besides, two are better than one. Exactly. I was fine with Kobe coming with me. Wolf. Well, I like Kobe. He's cool. Well, have you heard that there is better? Well, have you heard that 3 is better than 2? Okay. Mortimer's estate. Whoa, gosh, that's a big house. Okay. Passing through countless dirt roads and steep cliffs, the estate reveals itself beyond the evergreen. Nestled and tucked away from prying eyes, it stands tall, looming from a distance. Hugo and Noah could only gaze at the sheer scare of the manor as they parked adjacent to Nina's car. Now, wow, to think she came all this way just to request us. It took us more than a couple hours to get here. Maybe she really didn't have a choice. What do you mean? Come on, she's waiting for us. Immediately after exiting the driver's seat, a sudden sharp pain weighs heavy on Hugo's chest. Grasping tightly at his coat, he begins to gasp for air. His gaze hazes as he leans close to the car. Like a fish drowned out from sea, he desperately heaves. But the ache he harbors pales in comparison to the pain far more excruciating. Is it the house? No, something far more sinister. He feels it. Someone is watching him. A piercing gaze fixed on him, like leering at a bug and waiting to strike. I'll never forgive you. Okay. What are we talking about here? What? What the? Already? I need to hurry or else. Hey, are you alright? Noah calls out to him, snapping him out of his fixated trance. Kobe nudges his head against Hugo, whining with concern over his partner's well-being. Did you hear me just now? Wait, did you hear that just now? Hear what? That voice. It was so close to my ear. Is everything alright? Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me. I'm just a bit winded out from the trip, that's all. I'll be happy to make you coffee at the very least. If it's no trouble. No, not at all. It's the least I can do. Once again, this subtle uneasiness from Nina surfaces. Yes. But before Hugo could get a chance to look further into it, she walked off toward the front porch without saying another word. Are you sure you're alright? You sounded like you were choking earlier. I said I'm fine. Besides, we're already here. We can't back out now. Listen to me, I think you should. Noah abruptly cuts his lecture short as he noticed Nina stopping by the front door. She stands there silently as if contemplating something. I know this may sound rude, but I didn't get a chance to know your names. Well, you were pretty out of it when we talked. When you walked in. Wait. Well, you were pretty out of it when you walked in. I'm really sorry about that. No worries. This is Detective Hugo Laurent. Listen, Lieutenant. Oh my gosh, I can't read. I can't read. His assistant Kobe, and I'm second assistant Noah DeLinen. Or is it DeLon? No. How? It seems so surreal, just like a cartoon. Ha ha ha. That's some fake laughter. Nina meekly smiles before turning away from them. I haven't been quite honest with you, Detective Laurent. Just like before, as if carefully chosen her next words, she decides that in this situation, words are not enough. You'll see for yourself what I mean. And with that, Nina enters the house, leaving the three to follow behind. Hugo is about to enter through the foyer, where he feels a tug on his arm. Don't forget what I told you. If something happens, let me know right away. You'll be the first to know. And with that, Noah releases his grip on Hugo. They proceed to head in, not knowing what awaits them beyond the door. Greeted with a brightly lit hallway, Hugo notes that the interior is just as grand. Adorned with floral accents and antique paintings, it exudes an elegant charm found only in a resplendent house as this. However, Hugo noticed something even more distant than the splendor. The house is much more terrifying inside than out. Please come this way. Bracing themselves, they enter the dimly lit drawing room. At first glance, Hugo could not discern the silhouettes of silhouette situated at the far corner. However, on closer inspection, he now understands the reason for all of Nina's unsettling vagueness. Grandfather, we have guessed. You don't look so good. That's a grandfather? Wait a minute. What is he, in his 20s? I mean, was he 16? Sitting on the armchair is a young man. He is dressed in a white collared down dress shirt, tucked in with black slacks and black penny loafers. Staring at the window, the young man sits there dazed with little acknowledgement of the people around him. Still, motionless like a doll. Grandpa, these are the people I spoke of. This is Detective Laurent and his two assistants, Kobe and Noah. They're going to help us. Even after introducing them to the head of the Mortimer estate, Hugo and Noah could not help but feel unnerved. The man before them is supposed to be a frail older than any of them, and yet he remains forever unchanged, forever young. They've came a long way, so I'll make some coffee. Are you making some coffee? Would you like some, Grandpa? The young man still does not reply back, never glancing at Nina or anyone else in the room, only fixed on the rain. I'll be sure to make a cup for you two. She then timidly gestures to Hugo and Noah back to the foyer. Bearing more questions to follow Nina outside. Bearing more questions, the two follow Nina outside. But before they leave the drawing room, Hugo takes one last look at the young man. There is an all too familiar air about Henry Mortimer. His eyes. They're similar to his own. Whatever he must be longing for. Hugo knows he will not end. This will not. Hugo knows it will not end well. Uh-oh. Nina, that man. Yes, he's my grandfather. The one I asked you all to watch over. I know this is hard to believe, but Nina draws something out from her pocket. It's an antique picture of a young man with slicked back hair wearing a luxurious suit. He appeared to be posed and refined. A complete contrast to the current Henry Mortimer. This isn't much to go by, but I swear he is the same person. Then why does he look so young? It happened a few nights ago. I was on my way to get a cup of tea when I heard a loud thud coming from my grandfather's room. I was worried that someone fell over, so I went to go check. When I opened the door, I found him collapsed on the ground. I rushed to help him, but when I did, he looked so different. So many things were rushing in my head, and yet he felt so familiar to me. He wore the same clothes that my grandpa wore that night. And his face, I recognized his face. He just looked younger. That was also the same day I found that letter. It was next to him already opened. I'm sorry again for all this. No matter who I went to, they either said something was wrong with me or my family. With everything going on, maybe they're right. The pools of water, the dripping sounds, the letter, and now this. Maybe my family is really cursed. They're not. Curses aren't real. Detective. I think we easily get too involved in believing that sort of thing exists. In reality, no one who fixates on it feeds. In reality, the one who fixated on it feeds off of it. The rumored doubts, lies, all of those things are what they want to become real. Deep-rooted emotions like that can possibly be healed or fixed right away. But like a curse, those emotions drag other people down with them. Yeah, personally, I think you were caught up in all this. But I assure you, we'll see this through. For you and your grandfather. Thank you. Good. Now, our first priority is to find out more about Lewis. Nina, the letter you showed us back at the agency, do you have it with you? Oh yes, it's here. Do you mind if I borrow it for a bit? I'll be sure to give it back. Of course. I'll check upstairs. Noah, you and Kobe check the ground floor. Got it. Before they leave to do their own investigation, Hugo grabs a hold of Noah's shoulder. He leans in close enough for Nina to not hear. Keep a close eye on Mr. Mortimer and Nina. Especially Nina. Okay, I'm counting on you. You too, boy. Wolf, wolf. And with that, Hugo heads upstairs, starting his investigation. Mortimer Estate, 11:30 p.m. After searching vigorously through each of the room, he knew his findings would eventually lead him here. This is it. Hugo walks toward the nearest lampshade and opens it. Dimly illuminated, he sees the extent of how lavish this part of the house is. From customized drapes to the vintage furniture, everything exudes that extra. What? Everything here exudes that extravagance. But much like the interior Hugo has seen so far, he finds this one in the particular reeks of it. Plastered from the wall to wall, he sees a sense of gloom lingers. It's as if the room itself is moldering, despite its preserved nature. I need to hurry. I don't want to stay here for too long. Okay, 11:50. Oh, boy. He searches and searches still with no sign of anything. He is searching. Now, one thing. Parenting to Lewis. Nothing. As if he cleared out everything. It's as if he cleared out everything, just blank everywhere. No, it has to be here. I'm not missing something. I'm just missing something. He ponders again before remembering the letter. This is the only proof Lewis exists so far. I'll try to read it again. Maybe I overlooked it. As he takes the letter out from the envelope, he notices a change within. Bearing no forbidden threat at the bottom of the page, it looks just like a regular letter. What? If you can't come, then I understand. It's pretty dairy after all. But if I can ask one last favor of you, could you keep my locket? I know this is selfish of me, but I like for you to have it. I'll be happy knowing it's with you. Thank you for everything, Henry. Forever yours, Lewis. This is the same Lewis? I thought he was the cause of all this. Don't understand. Without warning, the sound of a click can be heard across the bedroom. As something unlocked itself. Hugo turned around and sees at the foot of the bed a chest. Unlike the other furniture, its dark and rustic features have not been maintained well. Left to rot on its own. Preparing himself, he opened the chest. Inside, scrambled together, are bunches of notebooks and small trinkets. Hugo continues to rummage through when he stumbles across an old newspaper article. Young man found dead by the lake. Yes. An undefined young man was found on the morning of a date that we don't know. These days prior to this death, according to the police. Ruled out as a I don't know. Okay, so I'm not gonna say these words because I don't know how YouTube takes that. We're just gonna go as blank, okay? When I say blank, that just means that word. Ruled out as blank, police have claimed that the troubled youth drowned herself. This certainly is a tragic loss, an unfortunate event indeed. No claim of his body has been made yet. Lewis. By the corner of Hugo's eye, he spots a bright glint. A what? By the corner of Hugo's eye, he spots a bright glint buried beneath the clutter. I've never heard of that word. He reaches for it. Oh, the locket of brilliant gold shines unblemished, retaining a timeless luster. Inside, it's safeguards a picture of a young man wearing glasses, smiling brightly. This must be the locket that he was talking about. It's so pretty. I'm surprised it still shines like this. In this picture. Did he put this here? No, it might have been Henry. But why? Why would he store it away like this? What should I do? Oh no, we got the choices. Okay. We're gonna take the locket. I should probably hold on to this for now. I hope that was a good idea. Hugo's about to put everything back into the chest when he feels a wet and cold sensation crawling up his leg. It does not sound good. Water? A pool of water recently spreads across the floor, already seeping into the chest. No! Suddenly the lights shut off. A scream is heard, followed by my parade of shouts. Hugo is about to call out to Noah, but stops at the sight of pale feet before him. Looming over him stands a tall, ominous figure. His face is shrouded in complete darkness, devoid of any human emotion. It appears as a young man, but Hugo knows that it is far from it. No, this very thing is trying to imitate a human form, trying to be human. Hugo could only stare back. Paralyzed with fear, he is forced to watch the horror as it slowly creeps toward him. It's just like before, the sensation of someone staring at him from within. But this time, it's drawing near. Inching ever so closely. The words to call out to Kobe or Norbert fail to reach out. Lodged in his throat, he struggles in pain. With his breathing shallow, he tries to force his body to move. And then it stops. Looking down at Hugo, filled with nothing but malice and contempt, it speaks. I did not get to read that. Okay. All of a sudden, the door to the bedroom slams shut and he disappears. The tension from his body finally releases its agonizing grip, and he gasps desperately for air. His vision blurred and breathing jagged, he staggered toward the door. He yanks at the handle several times, but it's tightly jammed. No, Kobe. No, wait, I don't know why I said no. Noah, Kobe. To his dismay, he is only greeted with silence at the other end of the door. Dang it. From a distance, he faintly hears the sound of Kobe's relentless barking as it gets farther away from the house. Hugo rushes toward the window. He tries to pry it open, but just like the door, a heavy force prevents him from doing so. Screw this. Frantically looking around the room, he spots a nearby chair. Within a moment sooner, he grabs the chair and starts to strike the window. Bit by bit, the window cracks, gets larger with each blow, splitting off smaller pieces. What the heck is this thing made out of? Still trying to catch his breath, he musters all the strength he has left for a final blow. Darn you, just break already. Clearing out the remaining glass shards, Hugo peers his head out to see any railing he can grab hold of. However, he discovers instead of that, the wall adjacent is covered in ivy. Despite how heavy the rain has drastically become, he reaches out for it, grabbing a handful of vines. Carefully, he climbs out the window, gripping tightly and making sure he doesn't lose his footing. Yet to his luck, the patch of vines he clutches start to tear away from the wall. Out of desperation, he struggles to find the grip on another, but fails when his hand slips out of reach. Crap! Clamoring violently as he loses grip on the ivy, he crash lands down onto a thicket of bushes. Air forced out of him, he heaves uncontrollably, trying to even out his breathing. But even that is laborious. An immense pain spread across not only his back, but his entire body. I'm getting too old for this. I mean, you're getting too old to fall out of windows. That's not getting too old. That just comes with like falling out of a window. Although his body screams out in pain, he forces himself up. There's still time. I can do this. I have to do this. With staggering feet and haggard breathing, he makes his way to the place where it all started. To the lake, where this tragedy starts and ends. More timer. Finally, entering through the park, Hugo calls out to Kobe and Noah. Kobe, Noah, where are you? He hears faintly the sounds of barking echoes of people yelling in the distance. He rushes toward the echoes, guiding him through the downpour. With his heart racing and blood rushing into his head, he finds his way to the lake. Drawing closer, he sees Nina giving chase to her grandfather. Unfortunately, she doesn't go too far as Noah stops her. Grandpa, stop. Grandpa, let me go. My grandpa, he's... Nina, please, it's dangerous. You'll get hurt too. I don't care. I don't want to lose anyone anymore. It's that instant Hugo trudges against the water, pursuing in Nina's stead. Hugo! No, don't! Please falls death to his ears. Not even the whines and worried cries of his partner could make him turn back. Determined, he trudges further in. Nearing the deep end, he sees Henry Mortimer gazing directly at the abyss. He looks even more frail and disfelled as if all the life has been drained from him. Surrendering it all to the lake. Before Henry could lean in, Hugo reaches out and tugs at his arm. Mr. Mortimer, listen to me. Nothing is waiting for you down there, so please come back to the shore with me. Motionless and unresponsive, he still stares deeply into the water. There are so many things we cannot afford to lose in our lives, and you're one of them. To Nina, you're all she has left. She needs you, Mr. Mortimer. Hugo felt it. A slight jolt from Henry's arm as it stirred by the mention of Nina. He slowly turns to face Hugo. Nina? However, just as cruel and violent as the storm, Henry jerks back, wrenching his arm away from Hugo's hold on him. All of this is my fault. If only I got to Lewis sooner, then none of this would have happened. Henry inches even closer to the edge. Lewis, I'm sorry. I should have what? Gone in his stead? Gone with him? You know what? You know that wouldn't resolve anything. Not for you or Lewis. I read that what he wrote to you those years ago. He understood if you didn't want to come see him. He understood if you didn't want to come see him. But that thing is Mr. Mortimer's. Wait, but the thing is, Mr. Mortimer, Lewis never thought anything less of you. The locket is proof of that. Lewis, locket? Yes, it's a symbol of his love for you. That's why you don't have to shoulder all of that pain by yourself anymore. We can talk about it. About you and Lewis. All of it. Together. Hugo extends not only his hand to him, but a promise. Promise that Henry had yearned for so long. Yes. A way to forgive himself. He hesitates at first. What fool believes in deserved forgiveness? Such a thing doesn't exist. And yet, despite everything, Hugo still reaches out to him. To a stranger. Maybe he can be forgiven. Just as he was about to reach out for Hugo, and a hand slithers around Henry instead. Its arm unnaturally contort around him while his head perches on his shoulder. This Lewis is no longer pretending to be human. With piercing cold green eyes, it glares directly at Hugo, mocking him, cursing him, wishing nothing but despair. We can be saved. We can be forgiven. Hugo. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Gaps. There is only one true way out of this. I will share with you the most happiest of endings. Before Hugo could reach out for Henry's hand, he disappears into the water. Mr. Mortimer. Without hearing the anguish cries and desperate pleas, Hugo dives in after him, into the abyss. Question mark, 12:30. Only 30 minutes have passed. Plunging into the icy waters, Hugo feels shocks running rampant through his body, like spikes continuously piercing his legs to the tips of his fingers. Fiercely and unyieldingly, his chest tightens and his heart races as he begins to kick his legs. Hoping whatever way he goes, he'll find the way to Henry. Swimming deeper and deeper, he sees faintly a figure slowly descending into the darkness. Hugo gasps. As he finally gets closer to Henry, long snake-like arms stretch across the void and grab Hugo's neck, finally squeezing all the air from him. He tries desperately to wrench his hands away. But with each struggle, Hugo's movements begin to weigh heavier and heavier. Lewis, where are you, Lewis? It's looking for Lewis. Digging deep into his coat pocket, he grasps tightly in his hand the locket that Henry kept and had long forgotten, holding it out as it shines ever so bright in the dark. I don't know what that is. Ah, there you are. He releases the grip on Hugo and instead reaches out for the locket. Taking this as a chance, he drops the chain and kicks with all his might to grab Henry's arm. With his heart burning and his body screaming, he swims desperately to the surface. Almost there. I just have to. As the lights from the surface begin to blur, Hugo makes one last attempt to reach for it. With his limbs worn out and his energy spent, this is all he can do. Before he loses consciousness, he notices a figure swimming toward them, getting closer and closer. And then everything fades to black. Question mark, question mark. The drifting along with what feels like an endless sea, Hugo courses through wave after wave, not knowing where he's going or caring for that matter. All he knows is that he's very, very tired. How long has it been since he had a good night's rest? Ah, it's been too long. Maybe I should take the rest now. I like that so much. I agree that you deserve it, but not here. I'm sorry for startling you. I just wanted to see you before I go. Lewis, you've done so much for me and Henry. Thank you. No worries. From a far off distance, a voice cries out to him, beckoning for him to come back. Well, I guess this is it. Take care, Hugo. Lake. With his eyes closed and his senses still returning, he feels the consistent tugs and licks of a certain bloodhound. Good boy. Whining as he tries to wake up his partner, Hugo. He also hears another familiar voice, too anomalously close for comfort. Eyes shot right open, he jerks up. Confused, Hugo looks around before he coughs up the remaining water in his lungs. Are you alright? Noah starts to pack his bag while Kobe continues to whine over Hugo. Oh, pat his back while Kobe continues to whine over Hugo. What happened? Where's Mr. Mortimer? He's safe. So is Nina. They're both okay. The police and the ambulance should be arriving soon. Thank goodness. Isn't there more you have to say to me? Instead of, thank goodness? I swear, you don't listen to a dang word I say. I'm sorry, Noah. Exhausted, he lets out a sigh. He then continues to pat Hugo's back aggressively when someone approaches him. Detective Laurent? Laurent? Oh, Nina, there's someone I want you to meet. Behind her stands an elderly man. Frail in stature, he timidly looks to the side pensively as he ponders to himself. Although his youth is long faded, his eyes are what catches Hugo's attention. There's no longer the piercing and viciously green. Only eyes just like Nina's. Hello, Mr. Mortimer. Detective. I never got the chance to say goodbye to him. I've always thought about it every day. What if Louis lived on in this world? What if he stayed a little longer with me? It's because of that constant mindset I dragged everyone down. And I kept hurting, not only me, but Nina especially. It was the only one who kept hurting her, the one to blame for all this. But you, someone that I've never met, still went out of your way to save me. Not knowing my burdens or my faults. Thank you. Hugo reaches out to Henry and smiles brightly at him. It's my pleasure, sir. But before he lets go, Henry tugs at Hugo's hand one last time. I hope that someday you too will overcome it. He knows. I don't know what he knows. I mean, I don't even know what's wrong with Hugo. Well, good morning, Hugo. You're bright and early. You're bright and early. Morning. With much forever and haste, Hugo resumes writing on his notepad. Although by closer inspection, he looks like he's going to combust at any minute. Are you writing up the report? Without looking up, Hugo responds back. Yeah, for the most part. You still need to write yours too. I will. But since I haven't had breakfast yet, and I don't like eating by myself. Let me guess. 2 is better than 1? Bingo. It's his name though. Wow, Hugo. You're really catching on, I'm so proud of you. Shut up, will you? I swear, if only I hadn't fallen off from the window, maybe my report would have been shorter. Before Noah could begin to cut the bacon, he pauses at the mention of Hugo's report. Oh yeah, by the way. Mind telling me what happened to the Mortimer's window? I broke it? Well, that's obviously to me, but why? But what I don't understand is, why is it broken? Do you know how much it costs to repair a window like that? I know, it was really dumb of me. I'm sorry. Besides, I told Mr. Mortimer about it before we left. Honestly, I was expecting an earful from him. And also the bill. And, surprisingly enough, he said it was okay. So what? You just called it a day after all that? Thank you so much, Mr. Mortimer. You broke it, you pay for it. Would you chill? Of course I'll pay for it. But each time I keep insisting, he just shrugs it off. He said that we already went through a lot for them, so this was nothing in comparison. Ugh. You know what? He's right. After all that we went through, I deserve at least a nap. Hugo puts down his pen and proceeds to head for the couch. Hugo puts down his pen. Oh, okay, I already read that. Kobe follows him after. Wait, what about breakfast? I'll eat it later. It's nap time now. Heavily sighing, Noah sets aside the food on his desk and joins the other two at the couch. Ugh, I'm getting old. I mean, you are old. Shut it. Kobe whines, asking for head strokes. Scratches. Oh, sorry, boy. Silently, Hugo scratches the back of Kobe's ear as he leans closer to Noah. You know, I'm glad you came along yesterday. Oh, what's this? Are you getting chummy with me now? Call it chummy or whatever, but I really mean it. If you hadn't saved us back there... Look, I told you before. I'll be there whenever you get yourself into reckless stuff. Besides, didn't you say this was nap time? Get some rest. You deserve it. You too. A calming silence fills the room as the three fall deeper into sleep. No big parties or celebrations. Just each other's comfort and sharing the small but rewarding night's rest. Good end. Oh, good. I'm glad we got the good ending. Thank you for playing. Wow. Okay. Cool. That was really good. That was a good story. A little different than what I usually do, but I'm glad I played that. That was really fun. And very interesting, you know. Just a really good story. I liked it. But if you guys enjoy these kind of games, just let me know and I'll play more. It's just hard finding like ones that are like this in a way. I mean, or just hard finding these kind of games in general that are really, you know, something interesting, I guess, in a way. Because a lot of these games that the website I use, find games, it's mostly just horror games. That's it. And I like horror games, but you can't really find a lot of these games. These little gems, I would call them, I guess, you know. But very fun game. But if you guys want to play this and try to get the bad ending, I'm guessing all you have to do is just don't take the login, then you'll get the bad ending. You can download it and play it yourself. I'll leave the link in the description below. And also, if you want to support the developer, because it's a cool game. If you wanted to see what else he has, because they might have some other cool games, you know. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.